Okay, for writing equations in slope-intercept form given 2 points, first make sure you know how to find the slope. Now remember, to find the slope, you must use the formula m equals, the formula was y2 minus y1, and then x2 minus x1. It is very useful if you memorize the formula. It should be easy as long as you know how to label, and as long as you know how to plug in, and as long as you know how to use your calculator to solve for the slope. Now let's take a look at this one. Plot points -2, -5, and 4, 6. First, you know how to graph it. You know how to plot those 2 points. You know how to graph a line passing those 2 points. Plot -2, -5, -2, -2, -5 is here, and then 4, 6, 4, and then 6 for the y is there, and then after plotting those 2 points, just draw a line passing those 2 points, and that would be the graph. Now, how about if you want to find the equation of that graph? Okay, here are the steps. We got 3 steps here. First, find the slope. Again, find the slope. We have m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Next, you have the formula. We learned this before. We mastered how to plug in your point and the slope. And now we solve for y. That means we have to write it in slope-intercept form. So let's take a look at this one. Now, what would be the equation of a line passing those 2 points? Now, if you have a graph, you can go ahead and plot those 2 points and then find the slope. Okay? Now, if you don't have a graph, then here we go. First, we need to find the slope. Okay? Because, why do we need to find the slope? Because we're going to be using the formula y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Now, first we need to find the value of that m. So let's go ahead and find the value of that m. y2 minus y1, and then x2 minus x1. We learned this before, how to find the slope of a line passing 2 points. So, let's say this is our first point. Let's say we have x1, y1. And second point is x2. Common sense, if you have x1, y1, and your second point is going to be x2, y2. So using the formula, y2 is a -4, minus y1 is 2. And then for the bottom part, x2 is 5, minus, and then x1 is 0. And now you have -4 minus 2. -4 minus 2 is -6. -4 minus 2 is -6. Over 5 minus 0 is 5. Therefore, -6 over 5 is the slope of the line. Okay? Now, because we're looking for the equation, then we can go ahead and use this. So how about if... Okay. How about we go ahead and plug in that -6 over 5 as the slope of the equation. So for the formula y minus, now you can use this point, or you can use the other point. But for now, I'll go ahead and use the first one since I labeled it x1, y1. But again, if you use the second point, we're going to get the same answer. So for now, I'm using 2 for y1. Slope is -6 over 5, and then x minus, for x1 is 0, here we go. Okay, now, y minus 2, and then you can go ahead and distribute that one. -6 over 5 times x. What I like about multiplying a number in a variable is that you just have to put them together. -6 over 5, x. -6 over 5 times 0 is obviously 0, so I'm not going to put a 0 over there. And now I have to get rid of that -2, because I need to have y alone. I need to have y equals mx plus b. So I'm keeping -6 over 5x, and that -2, when I move it over, becomes +2. And that's going to be the equation. That's going to be the equation because y is already alone. Done. That's the equation of line passing points 0, 2, and 5, negative 4. Again, you can rewind, you can go back, or pause the video if you're confused about this. So it's really important that you know how to do this, because at the end of this video, I'm going to ask you to go back to our website and finish the test, complete the test. Okay. Now, same process. We're solving for the equation of line passing points negative 3, negative 5, and 6 and 1. But to find the equation, we have to use the formula y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So that means we need to find the slope first. So right now we don't have the slope, we only have the 2 points, but we can easily find the slope by using the formula m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So again, to find the slope, just plug in whatever, what value, the values of your x's and y's. But for now, go ahead and label, this is my x1, y1, obviously this is going to be my x2, and then y2. So using the formula, and after labeling those 2 points, you can go ahead and plug in. Your y2 is 1, minus your y1 is negative 5. Your x2 is 6, minus your x1 is negative 3. Now, here we go. 1 minus 5, 1 minus negative 5 using your calculator is positive 6. Or simply 1 plus 5 is 6. 6 minus negative 3 is the same thing as 6 plus, because negative times negative is positive, so 6 plus 3 is 9. Or you get the lowest term, which is going to be, okay, 6 and 9. Think of a number, think of the biggest number that can divide both 6 and 9, and that would be 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 9 divided by 3 is 3. Here we go. So the slope is now 2 over 3. So I can go ahead and put 2 over 3 there, but I have the y, I have to copy the y, minus y1. So here we go. Minus y1 is minus y1 is negative 5. Minus negative 5, we learned that before, we can make it plus. Parentheses, x minus, your x1 is negative 3. Again, minus negative 3, we can make it plus, and now you have x plus 3. Okay? And then we can go ahead and distribute the slope. So y plus 5 equals 2 times x is, again, 2 over 3x. 2 times 3. In multiplying a fraction and a whole number, all you have to do is to multiply the numerator and the whole number, and that would be 2 times 3 is 6. So plus 6 over 3. But obviously for 6 over 3, you can simplify 6 over 3, which is actually 2. 6 divided by 3 is 2. And now, because we want to have x alone, we need to get rid of that plus 5. Now, when you move it over, remember, when you move a number over, you have to change the sign. So since this is plus 5, when you move it over, it's going to be negative 5. And now you have 2 minus 5. 2 minus 5 should give you negative 3. And that is the final answer. That is the final answer. Again, you can pause the video if you need enough time. Okay. Now, how about try this on your own this time. Try this on your own. Go ahead, pause the video, finish it, and then after that, I'll go ahead and show you the work for that.
Mr. Horton, would you call the guidance office? Mr. Horton.
Okay, let's try this. First, again, if you're solving for the equation of line, you should use y minus y1 equals m times x minus. At this point, you should have memorized the formula because we did this before. Now, again, given 2 points before we solve for the equation, we need to find the slope first. So the slope is, again, another slope is y2 minus y1. Formula is x. Here's the formula. This formula to find the slope. You should have memorized the formula as well. Now, you know the labeling part, x1, y1, and then x2, y2. Using the formula, we can easily plug in the values. And let's start with y2. y2 is 5 minus, we have 5 there. Okay, for y1, x2 is 4 minus 1. So slope is 0 over 3. Using your mental method calculator, 0 divided by 3 is 0. Okay. Now you gotta remember, before we learned that if you have a positive slope, the graph should go to the right. If you have a negative slope, the graph should go to the left. But if you have a 0 slope, it should be a horizontal line. Now let's go ahead and plug in. So your slope is 0. We just found out that it is 0. And we can go ahead and start with y minus. Your y1 is 5. 0 for the slope. Your x1 is 1. Now, if you want to distribute the 0, we can go ahead and distribute the 0. But you have to make sure that if you multiply 0 to y to x to a variable, it's still going to be 0. And then 0 times -1 still going to be 0. So we don't really need those two. So I would say that right now I have y minus 5 equals 0. Okay? I still need to move that -5 though to the right. So -5, when you move it over to the right, becomes y equals positive. And y is equal to 5 is the equation of the line. Good luck. Thank you. Now go back to the website and complete the quiz on this.